Indeed, as we get into the conversation, we have several people who are joining us for this baraza on microground, and we're hearing from them as they introduce themselves and tell us about their relationship with this particular park. We are at the August 7th Memorial Park. And Janice told us earlier that this August 7th Memorial Park, we commonly know as Bombla sites. So the park is managed by a trustee, and it has a management, and the manager is sitting right next to me. Her name is Natasha Mbogus. She's a general manager of this particular park. Natasha, you'll be the first one to speak to us, so that you tell us what this park is all about, what happens here and all. But Janet is going to give you the day's quote. And the quote is a quote that you know very well because you look at it every single day.
That's true.
Then you'll tell us who said it, right? Because we don't know who said it and where it was derived from and what it means. Janet.
Absolutely. It was, we came in and we're looking at the plaque, and this quote is smack in the middle of the names of those that we're honoring. And it says, "May the innocent victims of this tragic event rest in the knowledge that it has strengthened our resolve to work for a world in which man is able to live alongside his brother in peace." And then it is signed August 7th, 1998. Natasha, tell us a little bit about that quote.
Yes, the quote is pegged on our wall right there, and it resonates with us. It's a quote that was put together by one of our board members, one of our trustees. They've played a really, really important role in setting up the park, in coming together to see, okay, so this is a site of tragedy. What are we going to do with this space? How are we going to give back to the community? How are we going to keep the memory alive? So when they came together and they were like, let's put up a park, a memorial park in the middle of the city, open to the public, 365 days a year, to keep the stories alive, to keep the memories alive. And so one of our trustees came up with the quote, and we felt important to just pin it on our wall so that every day we can remember and reflect on the tragedy that happened all those years ago.
It's about being resolute and the resolve of the people.
Yes.
That lest we forget.
Lest we forget.
And also that we may learn from this.
Yes.
And we pick the lessons of our resolution of wanting to live together in peace, in harmony. This particular park, and I asked you this question earlier off air, you said, so it's run by the trust. But whose land is it? This is Nairobi.
Yes.
It's always very clear. Let's start from the very beginning. Whose land is it, and how is it owned?
Okay. So there are two pieces of property. So where we are right now, where the park is where the U.S. Embassy stood. And on the other side, we have the property where the Ufundi building stood. So both pieces of land were donated to the August 7th Memorial Trust. And the trust is governed by a board of trustees who are selected from the public and the corporate sector to manage and keep this space open and hopes alive.
Do people come here?
Yes, they do.
From what time to what time, and how many people do you actually see on a daily basis? Because we were saying earlier with Janet, do people actually know? Because statistically, a majority of Kenya's population was not alive on August 7th, 1998. Does that majority know that this park exists, and have many of them been able to come here? Before COVID-19, we used to receive about 250,000 people annually. That's about 12 to 15,000 people monthly. And let me tell you, on a random day, a random Wednesday, you just walk into the garden and you'd find not less than 150 people here, walking in and out, just coming to sit, coming to hang out, coming to meet with their friends. We have free Wi-Fi that come in to work. The students would come in to work on their projects and their proposal, and we'd be busy. Weekends, the numbers would go up to thousands. And most of our visitors, even to the museum, we have students, we have local and international visitors. But post-COVID, we've seen our numbers dip a bit. So we're at about 100 to 150,000 people per year. So we still struggle to connect with the younger generation, but we keep encouraging them to come, to visit, with the access to the free Wi-Fi and our museum being very interactive so that the younger generation can also connect to us.
Okay. I think earlier maybe it was a misconception, and maybe it comes down to amplification, because that's what I was mentioning to Eric. I was speaking to some of the other memorials that I've been to, or that people have been to, where there is an influx of people. I was taking note of the 9/11 memorial, where I was last year, and just found an influx of people coming in and out. But you've just said, yeah, there's a lot of people who come here, so maybe it's upon us to collaboratively keep that memory alive and to keep the information alive, so that the misconception isn't that people don't come, but they actually do. And as we mentioned, we are also joined by some of the survivors of the day, the first responders as well. We're just going to get a little bit of their story, their reflection, 27 years on. A very painful day for many, but for them, being there firsthand, absolutely horrible to think of. So we're going to go around, they'll introduce themselves and talk to us a little bit more about what they remember that day, and now they're reflecting on it 27 years later. So we'll just start here, and we do want to start by saying we're very sorry for what you had to go through that day, and we thank you for taking your time to come here and talk to us. So please feel free to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what happened that day.
Sorry. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ali Madama. I am a survivor, or we can say it a victim or survivor of the bomb blast of 1998. During that time, I think it was, there is a call that one the people were having a strike on the bank place, and I was in that building there. This building called Developing House. There was a bank of the Kenya, National Bank of Kenya. I was just inside in the bank hall. And that time, it was only that it happened. And even we were just shocked. And everybody, because now the embassy, it was just around here. The embassy, this is the building of the embassy. It was here. And so it was just nearby for everything it was happening on that. And we didn't happen whatsoever. But the issue was only that we were very much shocked on that kind of the scene of the bomb blast which happened in 1998. And in this city, and as we are here, we're talking about this, about the event and everything here about the bomb blast, it means that every time and then we have to come here and to remember what's happened on that day. Because some of the people, they just walk around, and some of the people of the victim of the bomb blast, they always sometimes they don't want to come here, because if now they come here, you know, they are all remembering that day. And even today, yesterday we were having a commemoration of the 27 years on that, to meet with the people, different people, because these things is touch every country. And that time when it is a bomb occurred, we just have this district and that whatever that one. But now we have 47 counties. And even if you go to every count of this 47, you will just going to meet the victim of the bomb blast actually in that. And that's why sometimes we are meeting here, discussing the issues, how we can assist everybody and whatever. And since that time we have done that one, we are complaining about our government, because the government is the one which is the citizen everywhere. But they have forgotten ourselves for that for so long time. Now it is 27 years. Still we are crying. People are dying. People, they need medication. Even you can see some of these people here, they have some glasses in their body. But they need it to be removed, but they don't have funds to do that kind of the thing. Mm-hmm. So that's why sometimes we need a relation between the government of American government and the Kenya government to come together. They talk about their citizen. But now, if now we are the local people, but we need that to be assisted in everywhere, whatever we are doing. And now here as the park, as my manager Natasha has said, this park, it was built because of the remembrance of these people who engraved their names there, and also the victim themselves, to come here and to see. And this memorial park is a very important memorial in our country, because everybody who comes from outside the country, you have to come here and see what is happening to this. But our government, they have just closed their eyes and whatever. And as you see, in the 11th of September, the president of the American, Mr. Donald Trump, will host that thing during that time. But here, our leaders, they forget, surely they forget everything. Yeah. But for the first time when it occurred, the later President Daniel Armoy was coming here Wakina Kibaki that were coming here, and even Wakina Raila that were just coming here to see what is how. But from that time,
over the years,
forget of all the kind of thing, and the people are still suffering because of that kind of the people. Now we are the people to be there, to remind the people, even our children or our grandchildren, to remember that what happened in 1998 for this bomb blast. And we are appreciating, as she said, that this plot belongs to the American embassy, isn't it? But now our manager is telling us that this is being run by the board of trustees, which is okay. That is okay already. Even we are studying even to see that we can do something which is very good here to make people. Even sometimes we were just thinking about the old victim.
You will come back to you, just to allow everybody to get a chance to speak. And when you do, please make sure your microphone is close to you, just so that we can hear you well. Thank you for reflecting on that. And I think what you've said is important in terms of how the memory is being kept alive and how the prioritization. As you said, previous heads of state were giving it that gravitas and importance, and over the years you feel like that has slowly faded away. When we come back, we can think through how do we make this top of mind again. But again, just want to continue to take the microphone round to ask some of you, what do you remember about that day, and how are you reflecting on it 27 years later? Mnaweza ongea Kiingereza, mnaweza ongea Kiswahili, whatever works for you. Just introduce yourself and let us know what happened to you on that day and how are you reflecting on it. Mom, I can see ushashika mic. Unataka kuongea? Okay.
Nitaongea kwa Kiswahili.
Hakuna shida. Endelea tafadhali.
Na mimi najua kidogo kidogo. Mimi niko hapa, mtoto yangu alikufa hapo. Alikuja ufundi. Yeye alikuwa secretary City Hall, alafu alipata scholarship. Basi wakakuja kusoma hapa. Siku ya 5, wakati hiyo mimi pia nilikuwa nafunjika. Mimi nilikuwa tu nyumbani, mimi niko kwa kitanda. Sasa wale walipata maneno ati Dorin alienda kwa class. Na sisi bado jaona yeye alilala nje, wanafikiria tu saa ingine yeye amepata ajali. Na walificha mimi. Sasa bila walificha mimi, nikalala siku 2, alafu Father Michael Olila alikuja kuniita, kumbe walipita kwa father. Akanibeba mpaka kwa mission. Akaniambia kufika kwa mission, aliniambia mimi huko nyumbani hakuna, uwezi kutembea paka hapa. Dorin hakuna. Dorin kutoka siku ile ya bomb blast bado hajaonekana. Sasa walimtafuta paka wale 5. Wale walipata mwisho. Ndio moja, yeye ilikuwa moja. Sasa hao watoto wangu waliona alifaa sweta. Sasa kipande moja alibaki tu kwa nyama. Sasa na mguu yake hapa ndiye alibaki. Sasa walimpigia mimi simu, watu wa Red Cross wakasema ati nikuje. Sasa walitoa gari, wakakuja wakanibeba paka hapa. Kuja hapa mimi naenda City Muchari, bila nimeona tu mguu yake kitu kadogo tu namna hii. Yeye alikuwa msichana mnono kabisa, lakini nilipata tu mafupa kadogo na mguu yake 2. Father alikuwa naomba Mungu mpe sisi mkono ya Dorin ama mguu yake, tujue tutashika hiyo ni mwili yake. Kumbe niliona tu mguu yake 2, na huyo mguu alikuwa anafanana na baba yangu. Basi jina yake iko hapa. Sasa kutoka siku hiyo yeye alikuwa anasaa kama yeye nasoma hapa Kenya Polytechnic. Yeye alikuwa anasoma hiyo secretary yake. Sasa huyo mtoto aliwacha kama iko kwa standard 2. Basi nilibambana na huyo mtoto kila siku. Mimi nakuja hapo kwa mkutano, hata kama si siku ya mkutano, mimi nakuja tu kuomba Mungu, kuombea Mungu akae salama. Sisi pia hiyo njia, hata mimi niko kwa hiyo njia. Basi sasa huyu mtoto nilibambana nayo, akamaliza form 4, akaenda university. Kumaliza university, mtu aliita iko semeji yangu wengine alimpatia kazi, akamuita kwenda huko, kumbe alifanya mtihani akapita mama mwingine. Sasa huyo mama mwingine akamwambia yeye utaona. Huyo mtoto kurudi nyumbani alikuwa mwendo wa simu. Siku 10 anakafa. Basi sasa mimi yote nilikuwa naweka tu kwa Mungu. Mimi nakujanga tu kutuma maombi, na hata nyumbani Jumapili siku ile nilitoka nyumbani nikamwambia Father muendelee na misa ya wale walipata ajali, kwa maana hakuwa upendo yao. Mungu ndio najua bila walipata hiyo. Mimi nakuja, mimi naitwa Margaret Achieng Joe. Na baba ya Dori alikufa kama Dori iko kwa standard 5. Na alisoma Mkumu Girls, akamaliza Chakol Girls form 6 ile ya zamani. Sasa nimeshukuru tu Mungu, nimeona tu niombe Mungu, kwa maana hata huko mimi pia nitaenda. Ndio mnaona mimi nakuja hapa kila siku, nikikuja mimi paka nisimame hapa niombe hapa. Hata mwezi ile ya jana mimi nilikuwa hapa. Nikuja tu kuomba, ninaomba tu Mungu, kwa maana nikibaki hai, mtu akibaki hai kazi yake ni kuomba Mungu. Asante. Nimeona siwezi kusahau na Mungu, kwa maana huko ndio kwetu. Ndio analeta mimi, na hii ajali yangu hii ilikuwa tu yangu tu. Mungu aliingia tu kwa shimu usiku kama baba yangu ilikuwa anakufa. Sasa ile nilienda kumbe nilikuwa nafaa viatu, nikakanyaga mahali ya nini ya shimu. Sasa mimi nilikuwa nafanya mguu namna hii, mwisho nikasikia tu hapa iko peke yake, huko peke yake. Wakati wangelikuwa nataka waende niwekee chuma, mimi nikasema hata Dori na alienda na yeye iko, muache tu, acheni tu hii mguu yangu, Mungu ndiye atanisaidia.
Pole sana mama. Tunasema pole sana kwako. Eric, ni kama unataka kumuuliza swali?
Hapana. Umeeleza hiyo story na vile kulienda, vile familia yako imeenda, na vile umesema umeamini Mungu, unakuja hapa kila siku kuomba, unaangalia mjukuu wako aliachwa akiwa mdogo, umeweza kumlea, amemaliza shule miaka 27. Mambo ni mengi ambayo yametendeka. Asante sana kwa kutueleza. Let's take a break. We come back and continue this conversation, hear from others, other survivors, other relatives who are here. Let's hear their story. Let's reflect on what it means. Lest we forget, 27 years ago, this major event happened in Nairobi. There was a bomb blast. Many people died. Thousands were injured. What's their life been since then? We'll be back in a moment. We have Felicitas who has the mic now. Felicitas, tell us your story. Tell us what this site means to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Felicitas Ouma. On that particular day, actually, it's normally very fresh in my mind. Anytime I see or hear something about the 98 bomb blast. I was at this building. There was a Bank of Baroda here, and I was banking with them. So that particular day, I had gone there to withdraw some money. And before I finished filling the forms, we used to fill forms, I think we still do. Then we just had a bang. And then we thought it was just a tire burst. Actually, we said, oh, that is just a tire burst. Later, we learned a matatu was hit on this side. And then before long, everything was just collapsing. So I remember I fell. And then where I was, it was a counter where I was filling the form. It was open. So my shoes were stuck in the rubbles. So I just pulled my feet And I just stepped out and I was running towards this side. I can still remember it. It was very fresh. And then, unfortunately, I could not walk with my eyes open because the glasses were so many in my eyes. When I opened, I heard the nurses said it was like my eyes were made of pieces of glass. And then someone grabbed me. Someone, up to date, I can't remember who it was. And I think he had a car, and I just heard people saying, get in, we go to the hospital. So he took us to the hospital. I thank God for that. And then after that, we couldn't find any hospital. I think we were like the first lot looking for a hospital. So the government declared that it was free. So we had a problem, but I ended up in the Hurlingham Hospital, which is now Nairobi Women. After that, yes, treatment and all that, I went home, went on with my life, hoping to heal. But it never happened because now 27 years later, I feel like still a victim. Actually, I feel like a victim more than survivor. Because by then I had 2 children, or rather I have 2 children. At that time, one was 2 years old. The other one was 8. But as they were growing up, they developed some resentment. They started not respecting me, something like that. All the time talking about my face, this cut here. And I wondered how. They knew about the accident and all that, but it's like, now at the moment, I'm very much alone. I'm alone actually, no family, nothing. To a point, I am in Kibera. I'm living in Kibera. It's called Makina. There is a place there for the center for elderly. So I had nowhere to go at all. I started becoming a street girl, like sleeping in the street. And then a woman came across and just looked at me and said, "Hey, you look like you have a problem." I said, "Yes, I'm homeless." She tried to ask me where my children were. I said, "My children, I don't even know where they are." And it is true, even right now, I don't know where they are. It is that sad. But so for me, because some people say it was a curse, my children were told actually that I died. And they believed. As big as they are, they believe their mother died in the bomb blast. And they are told the woman who has been raising you up is not your mother. It is somebody else. So it is something which has been in my heart. And
Felista, what were you doing?
About it.
What did you used to do before the bomb blast?
I used to teach in a place called Pisco.
Okay.
And also after the bomb blast, I lost almost all my jobs. So I became jobless most of the time.
What do you do now?
Now I'm doing, actually, as I'm saying, I'm living with at the elderly. It is called Kibera Daycare for the elderly. It is a center. That is where I'm living now, and I'm jobless. They are paying for my rent in Kibera. And recently they said they gave me soap to sell so that I get my daily bread. So that
Thank you
is
for
what
your
I'm
story.
doing at the moment.
Yeah, and
I'm also helping them with minutes. I'm good at taking minutes in meetings. So that is all I'm doing. I'm doing for them, sometimes in the kitchen, and then they pay my rent and give me food.
Okay. Fair.
So,
thank you. We'll get somebody else's story, but just before we do that, were you not able to get work because your abilities were affected, or what was it that prevented you from getting other work? What would people tell you when you would try to find other jobs?
Okay, before
You can just
I would get.
You can put the microphone here so
Oh.
that we can hear. Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Before I would get, and then later they started just being resentful, like they don't like my face. Most people normally talk about my face.
Okay. Because you have
Which-
scars.
Yeah, because of this scar.
Okay. All right.
So just that.
I'm very sorry to hear about your story, Felista, and thank you, as Eric said, for sharing it with us. And we're here to hold space for all of you today, so thank you so much for sharing that.
Margaret has a story as well, because it comes into how you relate with this place. Take the mic, Margaret, and let's hear from you, and then we shall also hear from Beatrice and the story from Beatrice. But let's first hear from Margaret before we come back to this other side.
Hello, everyone. I'm Margaret Wajiro Muirore. In social media, I'm known as Marjorie. On that fateful day, I was at Development House, to be precise, on 6th floor. So we had, the first blast was, as somebody said here, it was like a tire burst. But curiosity of us. So my colleagues, it's a general office, so we were many colleagues there. They ran to the window to peep. So I stood up, I saw that the window is full. Let me move to the next office. Maybe I'll get a space to peep. But just in the middle, now the full blast came. I fell down. And as Ali said earlier, there was a strike. The bankers were on strike. So in my mind, I said, hey, these bankers, they've decided to bomb us. That's what came to me. And while I down there, I said a prayer, because I knew now if it's a bomb blast, then we are gone. So when I stood up, my other colleagues who were on the window were all bleeding, the glass. And I thank God to today that I missed that space. But when I fell down, I didn't know that I got injured. When you see blood, you run to assist those who are bleeding. In fact, we used the stairs from 8th floor to down floor. And most people didn't even think of going to the hospital, because we were running away, and we don't know we are running away from what. So we reached, there's a place, we are on Tomboya Street. We reached at Eureka. I remembered that my daughter was at Tulips College. She was doing secretarial, my firstborn. I said, oh, what about my daughter? I came back. I ran upstairs, and I was told that they already escaped. So in fact, that day we went home on foot. When I reached home, everybody was asking me what's happening. Your dress is so bloody. That time, I've not yet realized that I'm injured, because barely an year I had dislocated my shoulder here at railway station. I was staying at Dandora, and we were using the commuter train. So as I alighted the commuter train, I fell, and my hand dislocated. In fact, it was going round. So when I fell down, it got injured. But you see that shock, I wasn't even feeling that pain. But reaching home, now looking at the dress, this is another issue. That dress I was wearing that day, it's 7th August. On 7th July, I buried my daughter. I lost my daughter on 29th June. And that time, little did I remember that. In fact, I came to realize later, 29th June is my birthday. You can imagine, that trauma. So I was wondering, this dress, the day my daughter died, I was wearing this dress. And it is full of blood. In fact, it's the following day when I came to work that my shoulder now started. I started feeling the pain now. As the shock somehow is, because you meet, you start relating what happened. But I'm telling you, it was difficult. Okay, we went to Amref. I was referred to Aga Khan. I was given physiotherapy and the rest. But after some time, my body started swelling. And so people were making fun. Jamani, unakula vizuri, umeanza. But when you press like this, a hole is left. So you see, that's not normal. There was another doctor, I can't really remember his name, an elderly doctor here at Church House, but very experienced. I came to him. So when he examined me, he said that he's suspecting something. And he said he sent him to the lab with a test. And the test came positive. That I had something called, I think, high anxiety. So I went to Red Cross and they referred me to Amani Counseling Center. And I went for counseling for almost a year.
Were you in any physical pain at this point?
No, the pain.
So the shoulder pain has been managed with physio?
Not really, because you see, like now, even now we are seated here, I don't know what happens with cold and the bones. Because even now, right here, there is some slight pain. So I can't say it has healed. And so, also now the trauma.
So basically you went through that,
yes.
The physical injury on your shoulder.
Yes.
And more than that, then you went through psychological trauma.
Yes.
That you had to go for counseling for an entire year. How are you now?
Okay. I can't say that I'm completely healed, because now that I came to realize that my daughter died on my birthday. Even this year I didn't celebrate my birthday. I didn't, on 29th June. And it was on a Sunday.
So but you still carry that?
Yeah. May God rest her beautiful soul. She was only 3 years, 3 months.
Indeed.
Yes.
Thank you, Margaret, for sharing your story. As then we continue and come back to this side, let's hear from Beatrice. Beatrice, what is your story? As concerns August 7th. What's the story as concerns August 7th, 1998?
Nikikumbuka kulikuwa Friday jioni, asubuhi. Wakati huo nilisindikiza mzee wangu akikuja kuuza maandazi. Na alikuwa anauza ile maandazi inaitwa kakangu Musa hii. Mimi ndio nilimfunza hiyo. Sasa wakati alikuja kuuza, tulikuwa anapaka kwa gari ya basi ya kutoka Kiseri yani. Nakumbuka nilimsindikiza nikamfikisha kwa stage. Tukawa tulikuwa na maombi nyumbani, wageni na wagoja, lakini hawakufika kwa sababu na hakukuwa masimu wakati huo. Nikagoja kwa stage nichukue wageni, hawakupata njia kwa maana kulifungwa njia kuja hii pande. Tukaenda kwa kanisa yenye tulikuwa tunatumikia, inaitwa Free Pentecostal. Wakati huo tukamaliza maombi kitu kama saa 7. Tukaenda kwa rafiki yetu. Wakati kwa rafiki yetu tulikuwa tunakaa kwa TV yake, tukaona mambo imebadilika, ni vigumu sana. Sikuamini mzee wangu atakufa hapo. Nilishtuka tu. Nikasikia roho yangu imetetemeka kabisa. Nikasema hawezi niacha Kenya. Nikasikia nimeisha nguvu. Nikasema hawezi niacha Kenya. Juu kwetu ni Rwanda.
Kwenu na kwa mzee wako ni Rwanda?
Kwetu sisi wote wawili. Nikasema hapa hawezi niacha na watoto wadogo. Na wewe Mungu najua. Sikuamini amekufa hiyo Friday. Tulienda tukamgoja tukumpata Friday mpaka jioni. Sasa Saturday ndio tulikuja kutafuta kwa hospital. Mimi sikuingia mochari. Nilikataa, nikasema siwezi baki.
siwezi baki na watoto ni wengi. Soka tuko na watoto 4. Sikujiweka nimeamini amekufa. Tukazunguka mahospital zote kuanzia asubuhi 6 kufika 6 jioni, nikaenda kunyonyesha. Huyu ni mtoto wangu, alikuwa na miezi 11. Nikaenda wakaniambia twende unyonyeshe mtoto, kesho tutakusaidia kutafuta mzee. Kwa maana walisikia nilizunguka mahospital sikumpata, wakaniambia usitoke leo marafiki, sasa wacha twende tukusaidie kufanya nini, kutafuta mzee. Walipokuja kumtafuta hawakupita mbali, waliingia kwa mamochari. Sasa wakakuja wakaona nimeogopa kukubali hiyo kitu, wakatuma mtu mwenye ako na nguvu, akakuja akaniambia, Mama Denise, unajua ni nini? Baba Dennis hayuko duniani, alienda mbinguni. Sikuamini. Niliingia kwa room, nikaomba, maombi kashindikana. Ni watoto ni wadogo, maana mmoja alikuwa na miaka 6 wa kwanza, wa pili alikuwa na miaka 5, wa tatu alikuwa na miaka 3, huyu alikuwa na miezi 11. Nikawaficha kulia kwangu. Nakumbuka vizuri. Nililia kwa bedsheet kawa maji kabisa. Na ndipo nikatoa ugonjwa hii macho inafura peke yake bure. Nisikutaka watoto waanze kupiga nduru hapo na hapo. Ikanishika kabisa, nikawa kichwa inauma, nimelilia kwa hiyo shuka. Watu wakaanza kujaa kwa boma sasa. Watu walipoanza kujaa kwa boma, nikajitia nguvu, nikarudisha afya sasa, nikasema lakini atafufuka siku yenye tutamfikia. Sikuamini ameenda, nikakataa. Wakati tulizunguka nikitafuta, wakiniuliza vitu naona ni kama wananichezea, ni kama nitampata nikienda kuangalia. Hapo ikafika, maana tulimuzika tarehe 14. Hiyo wiki sikuwa nasikia kitu. Nikisonga sana, tulimuzika tarehe 14. Hiyo tarehe 14 ndio niliona kweli ameenda, sitamuona tena. Watu sasa wakaanza kuwa wananiambia umekuwa, na nilikuwa na miaka 30 wakati huo. Nimekuwa mjane. Nikaitika nimekuwa mjane. Tukakutana na wenzangu wale wajane, tukaanza kuunda chama. Shida yenye ilitupata mapema kabisa, kwa sababu wakati tuligoja tutakutana watu waanze kutusupport, tulikutana ikawa ni kitu kinakaa ni kama wanatuchekelea, wanatudharau, wanatuona ni kama ni kupenda kwetu. Tukaanza kuchanganyikiwa. Karibu wote wenye walipata hiyo pesa ya matanga, hakuna mwenye aliweza kusimama. Sisi wote tulibaki tukiwa hohe kwa sababu tuligojea watatulipa haraka. Wakati tuligoja kulipa haraka, hakuna siku tulikaa tukiamini itafika miaka 27
na bado
tuligoja na tukagoja. Na wakati watoto wanakuwa, unamwambia hata shule tuko na madeni shule. Kama mimi niko na shule ya primary watoto walisoma. Nikiruka sana. Kuna shule nilienda wakati walikata 202. Walikata hiyo misada ya kulipa shule. Shule iliniambia usikalishe watoto nyumbani, wacha watoto waendelee kusoma, wakati watalipa mtalipa.
Naomba mom to pause kidogo, juu inafaa tuende break, turudi utueleze, but again poleni sana. This is heavy. I know it's maybe opening wounds and we're sorry, but I think this is also so important for people to be able to hear where you are, even in recovery. Some of you feeling like even the compensation is late to come. There was also those who are first responders on the scene. We have Justin Gaynard, who was a U.S. Marine who came in the next day. We'll learn from him what he saw and how he was able to intervene. We also have Ine Danono, who was with the Matatu Owners Association, to hear their experience on the day and continue to minister basically around here with the other survivors of the August 7th memorial, at the August 7th memorial for the bomb blast. So we're going to take a break. It's coming up to 9 a.m., Fixing the Nation. We'll be right back to continue this conversation. Stay with us. staying with us. There were first responders that day. That's what we've talked about since the show began. Some of them are sitting next to me. Dennis will talk a little bit about where he was that moment that he found out about the bomb blast, what he found when he was responding, and how he was able to navigate through that. So, Dennis, just give us your full name and tell us a little bit about your experience on that day.
Thank you very much, Janet. My name is Dennis Muthigi. I'm an emergency medical services consultant now. Previously, I was an emergency medical services responder. On that day, I was working night shift, and I remember passing this route going home. It was about around 6 in the morning. And I just went and slept. And then I remember being woken up by my big brother right now. He's in the U.S. And what happened is he told me, Nairobi is burning. I asked him what's wrong. And he told me that there was a bomb event. And I responded. I was with St. John ambulance then as a fast responder. So I maneuvered my way, and I got a private vehicle, which was a police vehicle, which was coming this way. And just at the coffee plaza there, I remember seeing a lot of things. When I made my way, I was a non-professional then. So when I came in, I saw so much things that, I don't know about these wounds, but those blood, those everything else coming up, people running towards you, you never know who, you never know what. But I remember, this was the American Embassy. A place I came to get a visa, but a place also I came to rescue lives later. So much. The pillar behind you there, I can count about 10 people I knew. Some of them who were active for the embassy then. And it was that. It was very chaotic, very bad. And what I can say is that courtesy of whatever happened that day, I'd also want to thank the U.S. Embassy and the U.S. government for our training that we went for.
Yeah. What kind of training?
We were accorded a training on emergency medical technology. That was pre-hospital medicine as EMTs, the first EMTs in the country. So I happened to be one of the first EMTs in the country.
Yeah.
Then trained to deal with the chaotic events because we never had such systems in place. The U.S. had them, and they brought us through the USAID and all that. And in 7 years, I can tell you, Eric, today we have trained over 1,500 responders, and we continue to train them. We struggle to do that because of resources, but we try and do whatever we can in the country to do that, because we need a lot of support for that, because we don't have
We didn't have
systems.
that kind of capacity before.
And we still struggle. And I would tell you for a fact, we still struggle to have such resources available. But we manage locally on what we can do. Because if I was just a simple responder, now I'm a professional EMS responder. Thank you, US.
Thank you, Dennis. And Justin, Justin is here from the U.S. Embassy. On the 8th of August, 1998, Justin arrived in Nairobi. He was part of the U.S. Marine Corps that was then deployed to come and help with that. Justin, pick the mic Tell us that story. Tell us where you are on the 7th and how you arrived here on the 8th and what you found.
Sure. On August 7th, I was in Bahrain. My unit had just deployed. We had been there 5 days. It was my first deployment with the Marine Corps. I was fresh out of secondary school. I was very young.
How old were you?
Barely 19. Yeah. And we had just been allowed off base. So we were out in town trying to find some shawarma. When we started seeing the news, we didn't have cell phones back then. I know everybody's talked about this. So we struggled to get a hold of everybody and get them recalled. We got back to the base. We started loading up gear, getting all of our gear, and headed out to the airport. Because of flight issues, we ended up leaving the next morning. So while I would never compare this to what any of the actual victims and survivors dealt with, it was hard to sleep that night. We knew we were coming here, but we didn't know what to expect. I know it pales in comparison to what everybody else was dealing with, but when we finally arrived, our biggest concern was what we were going to find. We had no idea. I'd never left the United States before, and we needed to get to the embassy to secure the area so that we could protect the rescue efforts and protect the embassy itself. We thought we were going to show up and land in the airport with, armored vehicles and gun trucks and all that stuff. There was a yellow school bus waiting for us. It's hard to look cool and tactical arriving to a crisis scene in a yellow school bus, but we made it work. We got here. Nothing could have prepared us for what we saw. It is strange now to be here sitting because everything feels smaller now than it did then. I don't know if anybody else feels that way. We got here. We needed to secure the area. Everybody that had been working through the night, everybody was exhausted. We showed up and it was tragic. Yeah. We looked forward and we saw the building had collapsed. The embassy was still standing, but the whole one side of it was rubble. We knew there was potentially still people in the U.S. embassy, and we needed to get through, clear everything, find what we could, and then cordon off the area so that we could then make way for the search and rescue operations to continue. Fairfax County Search and Rescue hadn't showed up yet, so we needed to find areas for them. They had set up tents out there. The sun was setting, so we needed to get through the embassy and clear everything. So we were clearing it with flashlights, and I know people have talked about this before, but seeing blood streaking along the stairwells, while I didn't know any of the victims, that was hard to see. Going through the office spaces and seeing parts of people left, it was tough. That first night, we didn't have a place to sleep, so the ambassador's office had the most room. There was still glass everywhere. We laid out our sleeping mats, and we took, as we took shifts providing security around the building, we slept in the ambassador's office, and for at least a week, I think we were here. It took a full month to fully decommission the embassy and move over to the USAID building that was in Parklands. Yeah. And I'm sure some of you all remember the smell of diesel fuel as it leaked through the basement. Yeah. I'm sure you remember, Dennis. Mm. I still can't eat food if I can smell diesel fuel in the area. That was tough. So then, as we secured the area, sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry. main purpose was to just protect the area while the search and rescue teams were able to do their thing. I will say this to all the victims and survivors. I'm sure you all feel guilty. But after spending some time here, I fell in love with the country. I fell in love with the people. And it's why I fought years later to come back and be here now. You guys have brought your own country further along, and you're continuing to make it better. And it's why I wanted to come back. And so thank you for all that you have done. The gratefulness and the kindness that we were shown when we arrived, I'll never forget that. And I appreciate it now. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Yeah. Strong and powerful. I just want to ask you one question as a follow-up. What was your brief as you arrived in Nairobi? Was it security? Was it search and rescue?
Ours was security to enable the search and rescue. All right.
And then you get in here and you find many people who are all trying to do their best in the search and rescue. But then you've got to follow some certain protocols in terms of how you secure the area. How was that relationship? And as you're trying to secure the area and people are saying, I'm coming to look for my loved one. I'm coming to look for somebody I want to help. And you have to balance between supporting those that want to help and doing your primary job as a U.S. Marine, which is security. How was that?
It was tough, obviously, especially early on. I will say this, by the time we arrived, I think it was at least somewhat more stable and secure, while still chaotic, was better than it was the first, 24 hours. One of the things that this is tough but because they weren't able to gain access to the U.S. Embassy and were forced into the other building, that's why so many more Kenyans were killed. But it created that delineation between the embassy and the main pile. So when the first search and rescue team from Israel showed up, they took control of the rubble, and we had cordoned off that piece of the embassy. So it was less of an issue for us. We were never preventing anybody from, we didn't need to prevent anybody from accessing our area because it's not where the majority of the people and the victims were actually at, which was at the
Fundi.
The Fundi building, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I know
Janet,
that
there's a comment from Jane Avugui who says, I'm a survivor. I worked at Cooperative Bank. I thank God for saving my life. Wow. She was right in this building. And she says she survived.
As did so many, some of whom we're here with today. Justin has given this perspective that it's hard for a lot of us to see, which is for everyone who's here, it's not just a memorial park, it's the memory of something really painful that happened. And we honor that. I know that we have about 4 or so more stories, and we really will make sure that we get to each and every one of you. I think it's important that you share your experiences, but I also wanted to see if we could hear from, Edith, to talk a little bit about the Matatu Owners Association, who yesterday were giving free rides randomly across various routes in Nairobi. But it wasn't for nothing. It's because the Matatu Owners Association has a link to what happened on August 7th, 1998. Tell us about that, about the first response element, and about how 27 years later you continue to honor that.
So in 1990, my name is Enid from Matatu Owners Association. In 1998, the association was not yet established because the association was established in 2003 to just bring the unifying factor. But in 1998, from what I understand, because by then I was still in primary school, but I can never forget that experience and what happened and how everything just transpired. Because I remember it was a closing day. So you know how excited children, I have never liked school. So that day was the best day of my life. It was the best day because we were all now going home for holidays. I liked playing a lot. So we had actually arrived home and we were playing. So when that happened, all I remember about that day, and I kept telling Natasha, was Rose Wanjiko. Because of how everyone wanted to be part of her experience and seeing her come out of the rubbles alive. So that was all I could remember about that day. But my association with this park came early this year when Natasha approached the MOA president for a partnership with the public transport sector. So on coming to this park and just seeing the history preserved and all those things that happened on the wall and the pictures just depicting and showing what exactly happened, that is what drew us to get committed to participate and just be part of supporting this particular park. So what happened on that day, we did not have minibuses. We had the 14-seater vehicles and the stagecoach buses. Yeah. So our 14-seater vehicles used to ply the railway route. And definitely it being adjacent to this site, most of our crew came to help with the rescue mission, and most of the vehicles also were the ones that were ferrying the injured to Kenyatta Hospital. So when we came and having heard the stories that happened and even the role we played as a sector in these rescue efforts, we felt the need and the responsibility to be part of preserving this history. And Natasha was very categorical in telling us how the victims value this site and how much it means to not only the survivors, but also to the victims, the people who lost their loved ones here. And because of humanity, we can never forget what happened in the past. There are people who were not born by then. And there are people who were just young at that time. Some of us we can understand and remember the events that transpired. So we felt, why not keep that memory alive? And that's how come now then we came to offer the free rides. We actually paid for them. How we did it, we were going to the stages and taking random matatus at different routes, and then we would pay the full fare. So that at least, because we're investors, we can't make our investors not get their daily revenue. So we partnered with we partnered with Galana Energies, who were kind enough to come and offer the support to actually now settle the fares for the different routes that we went to offer the 27 free rides. And it was just for the sake of keeping this memory alive. The message you were sending out was the message of peace, the message of unity, and also just to get people to remember. Because as we were going, we were also interviewing people and trying to understand whether they knew about the park and how much they feel they should come and support. Right. So that was the reason why we came. Having been part of that history, we still want to
continue to be collaborative.
Have that continuity, yes.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us that backstory of what the sector was able to do then and how you're honoring it as an association now. I think we'll pass the mic over on this side just to continue.
We'll hear from George, and as I bring in George, I remember an image that was in the media of a stagecoach bus, which was right out there. And of course, blast happened. There were passengers inside, and the bus was caught up in it. And so it actually, it's a gory image. And you've seen it over and over and over again in the news of that particular bus, and some passengers now who are caught inside and what happened. George Ngige, you have the mic now. Tell us your story and your story with August 7th, 1998.
My name is George Ngige. I'm a survivor of the 1998 bomb blast. My story is sad because it brings back bad memories. I was just only 45 years, married with 6 children by then. I I had my businesses. I had 3 video showing houses, because by then video showing houses were making money. I had 2 hotels and a taxi at the Hilton Hotel. One of my video machines had collapsed, because one was in Moranga, where my wife comes, one was in Kawangware, where we were staying, and one was in Kerwa, where I come from. I came from before. Well, that one from Moranga had technical problems, and it was brought here for me to take it. They were being repaired at High Ridge by a Wahindi called Al Mansur. I took a bus from Kawangware, and then I alighted here. You see this railway station?
At the roundabout.
That's the roundabout.
Yeah.
Was a bus, was the stage. I didn't even know that American embassy was here. I had no business with America. So I passed here, holding my video. I wanted to go to there is a ambassador. So that is where I could pick to Odeon. That is where I can catch a matatu to High Ridge. When I passed here, I was between this bell bottom, we called it bell bottom, and the other building, Extelcoms.
Use the other mic.
I passed there when it was peaceful. When I reached here, just around there, the opposite side, is where I had some gunshots.
Sorry,
I thought
thank you.
I thought the gunshots. There are some robbers who want to rob the bank. Their curiosity, which they say killed the cat, took me back. When I was returning to check, that is where I heard there was a big tire burst, which shocked me. I stopped, but within seconds, the full blast blew. I felt myself in the air. I felt the sea with some needles through my body, and I couldn't do anything. I just found myself once again I found myself at Kenyatta, in Kenyatta Hospital. I lost my video, and at Kenyatta I was treated, but little did they know that there is this they call zygomatic arc was broken, but they treated me my hip because I was hit here. Also, they didn't know that one of my testes was. I was told to come after I was treated in the I think in the evening. My people had shot me, and they took me home. When I went home, my head was
swollen.
Was swollen. Swollen. My testes were swollen. That is when I.
Please hold it here, sir.
My teeth had. My teeth had cracked. You can see all these. I've got all cuts in my body, even here. So when I was taken back to the hospital. That is when I was X-rayed. They found that my zygomatic arc is broken. I had to be removed. Even these are lectures. You can see all these are lectures. So also the testes had to be removed because they say it can't survive. So I was lucky because I had 6 children by then. Because sincerely, I've never been a gentleman once again. So sad.
How long was the healing process, George?
Huh?
How long was the healing process? You went back to hospital, so you had to go for an operation, and then thereafter there was the physical injury.
The healing.
And there was a psychological.
Even up to now, just imagine when you have got a young wife, and you have got to live like that, because afterwards it developed into cancer. Even now I'm being treated at the Kenyatta National Hospital. It has been so bad. Let me say, because I even don't like to remember, because it is bad. But fortunately, the American government was sympathetic a bit for two years, and then they added another year. They through USAID, they incorporated AMREF.
Yeah.
AMREF did help us with the treatment, because they were paying for our treatment.
Okay.
Also, they gave Ernst & Young, incorporated Ernst & Young for the school fees. That program went on for 3 years, but unfortunately they only wanted to pay school fees for children who were in the primary and secondary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, 3 of my kids were in college.
Okay.
They couldn't be accommodated. So generally, my kids didn't go to university. And also that broke the. I had brought them in a good way, and now they have been. Their breadwinner is, let's say, physically dead, because they struggled with my wife. They had to start, because I was the one who was running my business.
Yeah.
They knew nothing.
Yeah.
The workers also were not trusted. Some ran away with everything, with money, with what.
So all your businesses collapsed?
All my
video business, taxi business, and restaurant business.
Even everything.
Sorry about that.
Because I was the soul.
You were the soul.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you. Again, we're just holding space for all of you today.
Yeah.
We do want to make sure that,
but there is one,
because we're running out of time.
There is one thing. I have been a leader and fighting for justice, for compensation.
Yes.
But what we have seen is lack of commitment of our leaders. Because our leaders, I have been even with Godek, the former ambassador. We have talked with Bushnell about how she started this park with President Moi. Ambassador Godek also volunteered even to take a letter to Kenyatta, to Uhuru Kenyatta. But the Kenyan leaders have never been committed, because we have got information that our government, we can't fight for ourselves through to the American government. You can never sue the American government. Only the Kenya government can talk diplomatically with the American government to compensate our people.
Okay.
But Americans, they have been good. They compensated their people and their employees. And why? And the Americans are the superpowers. They are the they fight for human rights, democracy. Why should they treat Kenyans as non-humans?
Yeah. Thank you.
That
I
is
think
what-
compensation is
Compensation
a
is
very,
the key.
very critical
Yeah.
conversation and issue.
Yeah.
And what you've just said has been heard. And thank you for saying it, because part of what we're doing is not just honoring, but we are trying to also follow up on what that could be. I'm hoping that at the very end, if there's anything that the Memorial Park has any information on, you can let us know. But thank you for speaking that truth. I think if you could also hear some of the other survivor stories that we're sharing today. Just your name and what happened on August 7th.
Okay, my name is Robert Onyango. On that fateful day, I was at my uncle back in Homa Bay County. And we had closed school for a second term. The following day, before the following day, we heard on the news that there is a bomb in Nairobi. And I thought it was just like any other news. Little did I not know that my mother also died on it. So I was brought up here in Nairobi. After that, all my life changed, because the way I was brought, I have never been with these people. My stepfather, because mother had broke up with the biological father, and they spent with this stepfather around 3 to 4 years. So there was so many challenges there about the burial of our mother. So finally they decided to bury my mother at the stepfather's place. And we were forced to live by the stepfather. So my life completely changed from there. I couldn't even imagine the way that, including even my name changed. Before, my baptismal name was Norbert Onyango Uma. Then it changed to Robert Onyango Agula. And it was an emotional damage. Up to now, I still don't understand why my name was changed. So we went through a lot that I can't mention here because due to the time. We have been following up compensation issue, and so many of my relatives, even the one who is so close to me, discourage me not to follow up, that it will never be. And it has damaged me emotionally. When I remember where I come from, sometimes I even ask why I am living. The reason why God brought me here on earth. Sometimes I even ask myself, ask God to take away my life due to the challenges we are facing. I face so many challenges, being denied, rejected, neglected by the close blood relatives. It hurts me a lot. And even right now, I am suffering from high blood pressure. At my working place, I almost killed a person because of mentioning my mother in a bad way. Because it was reminding me of the death of my mother, who was the breadwinner and everything to me. So
it's painful.
We are facing a lot of challenges. Sometimes I even cry in a room. And sometimes people think that I'm always happy. But deep inside my heart, I feel a lot of pain. It has really brought a lot of challenges in my life. And I can't even, it has affected even my relationship with the females, especially when it comes to marriage. Do I see no need for even being in a relationship? After all, I lost my mother. Who are you? And the compensation issue has even really emotionally damaged us. 27 years is not an easy thing to cope with a difficult life. We have been coping with a difficult life, especially with my brother, My brother doesn't want even to come at this memorial.
How old is your brother now? Is he younger or older?
My brother is now 32 and I'm 33 and now I'm 42 years. And so my brother is really also affected by that compensation issue and the loss of our mother.
Poleni sana Robert.
So all we are seeking is asking the American government and our government to please help us and have mercy on us to get the compensation, even if it will not bring away our loved one, but it will reduce some of the challenges we are facing. Because we are facing a lot of challenges, especially at my working place where I work. Since year 2020, I never went for a leave because they were saying that we have been in the house during lockdown. So we have negatives of 116 days. So we have to finish like around 5 years till we go. After that, every year they deduct 24 days. So it means like I have to go for 5 years without leave.
Thank you, Robert, and thank you for sharing your story.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Pass on the mic to Victor. And Victor, you too have a story.
Yes, I do.
What's your story?
Yeah, so thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Victor. Do I call myself a first-generation victim? Yes, but I don't only speak for myself. I speak for many others like me who have had to bear the brunt of losing a parent. My father's name is Mr. Lawrence Olumochola. His name is inscribed on that monument. He suffered he died due to the blast effects that caused head injuries in Ufundi Cooperative. Yes. So speaking here today brings back a lot of pain parent under such tragic instances doesn't really heal. We speak from a place of pain, and indeed from what you've been able to hear. It's like a wound that never actually healed. It pulsates with pain every time we come to the 7th, that cycle. So currently what I do, I'm an engineering student at the Technical University of Kenya. But getting to that place has not been a walk in the park. Our challenges started immediately, like you see, a blast is a seismic activity. When a blast goes off, it causes ripple effects. These ripple effects are far-reaching effects, and they've gotten to our lives. We were not there at the time. I was barely 2 years. Give it 1 year and 7 months. But the impact that that single event has had in our lives is, I don't know what I can compare it to.
What happened? So your father died.
Yes.
From the blast here.
Yes.
So what happened to your family?
So what happened is that luckily my mom was married then. She was just a young girl, give it 23 years of age. At the time, she already had 3 children. My dad was 29 years. So his demise left her vulnerable and completely exposed, because I think she was a housewife as well. So now she has been left with 3 children. And she didn't get the privilege of having a good education. So you can imagine. Her wars started after now we were going for burial. Yes. So when she arrived at the burial site, that's up country, after just laying the wreath and doing the final prayers, everything now crumbled. Now the replica of what the rubble that was here now transferred into our actual lives. Everything was thrown into disarray. Issues with wife inheritance, issues with property inheritance, issues with grabbing of property, issues to even deal with child custody, yeah, issues to deal with blaming, like victim blaming, you know. There was even a phrase like, "You are the one who killed our son," you see. So she was completely victimized, and she was stripped of everything, down to even her bare dignity. And one of the things that came out was that they almost even laid a curse on our lives, saying that we will amount to nothing. Yeah. So it has been a constant struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just trying
to bring her, to bring up her 3 children.
Mhm.
You're now in university.
Yes.
And you said that it's been a tough journey.
Yes.
Who's been paying school fees for you?
So from where I sit, I can't point to a single source. My mother has been quite proactive. You see, there's this package that our parents are mentioning. We got supported up to a certain point when it stopped. Now, my primary school, most of it I went to a free primary school under Kibaki.
Yeah.
So we just made it through, yes, with the bare minimums.
Yeah.
Then came high school. High school was the nightmare of my schooling life. We had to deal with long days of stay away from school, being sent for school fees. I think in my Form 1 and Form 2, I used to perform really well, like at the top of my class, and what would sustain me in school were the good grades. So I would go to my boarding master and he would ask me, and he would say something, a general statement like, "If you've scored an A, go back to class."
Yeah.
And that's what I hid under, like good performance in school so that I could stay in school.
So that you could
I
stay in
didn't
school.
have any other leverage.
Yeah. And
But
now
then-
you're an engineering student.
Yeah.
It's credit to you.
But then a challenge came when the boarding master was transferred. Now we had to contend with the new authority.
Thank you.
So we had to really struggle with that, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm very cognizant that we'll have time out in just a moment and that there's 2 more experiences to share. One of them is next to Eric and the other is the gentleman who has the microphone. So are you able to share your story with us? Just very briefly if you can.
Yes,
But go
yes,
ahead, your name and what happened
Yes,
that day.
yes, I can share.
Yeah.
My name is Peter Kawemba, and during the 7th August, I was in this building, the tallest building here. I was in 14th floor. And what happened is that in the initial preliminaries, there was some shout outside here, and we tried to go to the windows and see what was happening. I went from my desk, I went to the window. I saw some people running outside here in the embassy gate, and then I went back to my seat. Within a twinkling of an eye, the explosion came up. And when I came to realize what was happening, I was within my table. And many glasses and the windows were shattered up. Then when I wake up, I could be able to see outside. I could be able to see glasses all over. And then now I had to be very firm. And when I wake up, I heard people speaking in tongues, their mother tongues, all over. And I was very bored, and I stood up and I walked out. On my stairs, there was a lot of shouts outside. And there was a lot of people. I think I could remember I went over about 10 people who were dead on my stairs, and the blood was shedding all over. And I tightened my shoes, and then I came up. I went slowly with the stairs up to the first floor, whereby there were no people to move speedily, and due to the blast, there was one of the building slabs were down there, the other side. That is where I used the slabs, and I could manage to move. People were crying, and others people could also, on the other side of the building, were trying to move, and I could hear them being told, don't jump over there, that one. Then I went, and on the road on the National Bank, we found many vehicles. In this country, people have sympathy, because when the blast was up and people were moving out, people were crying, we found well-wishers. And one of the well-wishers, they took us to Kenyatta National Hospital. And on that date, when I was to enter the vehicle, there were many people there. And they were telling me to assist them. I was also shedding blood because of the injuries that I had sustained. And we went to the hospital. That is when we were admitted there, and I was also given a chance to move on the same. Mm-hmm. And some of the stitches that were done, I was there for 2 days in the hospital. In my schedule of my programs, and then we had a wedding of my sister on a Saturday. And I was the key person who was preparing the wedding. And now I'm in the hospital, no communication, blackout. Then it was said that the son who works in there from that community is dead, because the building is has come down.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
Then in brief, when I came out of the hospital is when I realized that I was injured, and many things were happening, and my job and myself, I rested for some months on the same.
Okay.
On the aspect of the experience that I've acquired, we had to go for medication. We had also issues of counseling that we went. I was very traumatized on the issue. And finally, when things went on, I also became sick.
I'm so sorry
I developed a heart problem, eye problems, you can also say. But by then, I was 36 years. And now I'm 60.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
And I've undergone that journey. It's my first time to share in this forum.
Thank you.
And me, I'm so humbled.
Yeah.
And may God bless us.
God bless you all so much. It gives me so much pain to have to interrupt, because I think it's so important. Our director says we're almost down to a minute, but sir, I think it's important that we hear from you, even if it's very brief, and apologies for that. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you. My name is Jafed. Apparently, my mic doesn't have a logo. I do branding. So anyway, back to the topic of the day, fixing the nation. I appreciate this opportunity because I don't think everybody gets to have this, right? For us, it's been 27 years. Personally, I'm shaking because it's a lot, yeah? We've been talking, we've been meeting, we've been told several things, but up to date, I think many Kenyans wanaweza sema ni stories za jaba, But to be honest, this is tough for us, Personally, I was 11 months when my dad passed away. So you can imagine, we are from Rwanda. My mom, you saw her, yeah? We are from Rwanda, we came to Kenya, and now we are running from genocide. I'm telling you this because I feel it's essential so that you can understand what is happening here, all right? So my story is just like any other person who was affected by this, all right? So many of us have so much stories, depth, but they cannot even reach here, So that's why I'm saying my story in a nutshell. Yeah, because there's so many of us who has so many stories and it cannot reach out there, you know. So that's why I'm appreciating this, you know. I've been trying to push so that everybody can understand what's really happening here. You know, if you're trying to fix the nation, I think this is a good step for you guys. I appreciate you guys. And for us, we've been promised, you know, from day one. I remember when I was a kid from school, I could come here. My mom used to work here because it was hard for us to get to her, right? So they told her, the only thing that we can do is for you to work here. So she worked here. So after we got out of school, we were 4 of us. We usually came here and found her. So the thing is, after all I'm trying to say is, because of the time, please continue with this. And all I can say is, we've been promised compensation. Let me talk about the compensation. Can I do that?
What you'll do, sir, if it's okay with you, you can give us that information off camera that we can there share with the public.
Thank you.
But thank you for that perspective. And I'm so sorry to have to carry that duality of leaving Rwanda and then coming. I'm really sorry. To everyone who's here, thank you for even just being patient enough to listen to everybody, for sharing with us, for sharing with everyone. There is no way we can ever grasp what it is that you've all been through. But we want to appreciate you. And we won't just stop here. We'll continue to amplify these stories so that hopefully we get closer to more answers. So thank you all so much. Thank you to Natasha as well for helping us convene everyone here today. The GM of August 7th Memorial Park. Janet Bogwa, Eric Latif, Mariam Bishar in absentia. She'll join us on Tuesday. Again, thank you each and every one of you. Thank you for staying with Fixing the Nation. We'll be back on Monday, 6 a.m. Keep the conversation going. Watch this back and amplify it as far as you can so that we can keep this conversation going. But for now, have a good weekend and look forward to your World and Vibe Shift on Nation FM. Thank you.